I do want to call this meeting back to order. And I do want to announce before we move on that the board did not complete our closed session agenda, and therefore, at the conclusion of the regular meeting here in this room, we will recess to return to closed session, and then later come back up again and report out any actions from closed session and adjourn the meeting finally. But hopefully you all can find your ways home in the meantime and not have to wait for us through that part of the process. So thank you for being here this evening. Let's see, we need to do the Pledge of Allegiance. How about Ms. Bedrosian, would you mind doing that for us?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. Take advantage of you being here, visiting with us. Let's see, how about a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, at this point, we have no report of closed session items. But so we'll move on to staff presentation and information. And first is a report by our student representative, Ms. Cho.
This past weekend, our Torrance High Color Guard took second place in their first competition of the season. And one of our Tartars competed at the CIF State Wrestling Championships this weekend in Bakersfield, and he made the top 16 in the state for our heavyweight division. The book drive that we recently held, we raised 284 books, which we'll be donating to the Learning Tree. We had our UCLA Spring Blood Drive this past Thursday, and we got 132 pints of blood. We'll be filming our lip dub on March 8th, which is on Wednesday, and we have our Holy Festival of Colors March 15th at lunch. And lastly, we have our lip sync class competition at lunch on March 17th.
Great. Will the lip dub be on YouTube? I think it was last year, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we can look forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, any other questions from anyone? All right, thank you. Appreciate you being here and sharing that information with us. Moving on to the good news student presentations. We have folks from an elementary and a middle school and a high school. So I guess Dr. Kim and Dr. Dougal will probably be.
Thank you, President Reagans. It's my pleasure to introduce our student leader from Towers Elementary, Blake Miller. Can you please come on up? Let's give him a round of applause, everyone. And Blake, if you want to reach down, get that microphone. Blake is joined tonight by his principal, Mrs. Scora. Thanks for being here, and his mom. So Blake, tell us what's happening at Towers Elementary.
Hello, my name is Blake Miller, and I'm the president of Towers Elementary Student Council. I'm here to tell you how our student council helps our school. Our student council just finished selling stencils. This year we had a triple our order. We made $600. We are going to use this money to get a school mascot. Some things we do to help other people are Relay for Life and Coins for Cancer. We do this to help raise money for the sick ones in the hospital. In the future, we will do many other spirit days. For example, we will have a spirit day on St. Patrick's Day, and we will have Best Seat in the House. This is where some students will be able to sit at a nice table with nice silverware and have pizza together. We will also have an Aloha Day at our school where our families are welcome to join us for lunch on the lawn, as well as music and dancing. Student Council will continue to work hard to better our school. So, we are Towers, we are proud, everybody sing it loud. We are great and happy too, so let's show them what we do. Towers, Towers, Timberwolves.
Yay! So just to check in with you, when you said you were raising funds to get a new mascot?
Yes.
So it will be a Timberwolf?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
A live one?
I didn't want to go there.
You could find a coyote. could probably find a coyote.
Go ahead.
Next, I'd like to call up students from Birtland Middle School, Kushi Kumra, Daniel Yang, and Shrey Mehta, to tell us a little bit about what's going on at Birtland.
Great.
Good evening, esteemed members of the District Board. It's my honor to be addressing you all about Birtland Middle School's computer programming and robotics programs. In our advanced programming class, we've had the chance to accomplish remarkable feats that not many middle schoolers have. Over the past 2 years, we've learned the most widely used and popular languages of this generation. We've programmed Scratch, Trinket, and apps for both the iPhone and the Android. This year, in Mr. Timbara's advanced programming, we delved into the physical aspect of computer science as well as the writing-based languages, such as Arduino, processing, C, and Swift, which is the iPhone programming language. Programming is a logic-based creativity, and Mr. Timbara's computer programming class teaches a student to stretch their creativity using logic. Programming is an extremely useful skill in today's world where everything is based on technology. Everyone knows how to use these, but does everyone know about what goes on behind the screen? I can guarantee that everyone sitting in this room is a digital consumer, but that's not enough. We need our generation to also be the creators. I think every student in TUSD should be learning computer programming, because technology is our future, and who else will build our future if we don't? Being in the programming class, I've had a chance to be a part of our school's robotics team. Last year, I served as a captain of one of 2 teams, and we attended 3 competitions. Participating in this program taught me what it's like to work in a team. That it's not only about what you win, but about what you learn along the way. Fortunately for us, we won an award at each of the competitions, each time for core values, successfully working as a team and participating in friendly competition. This year, one of our teams advanced to the regionals, and we were all very proud. In computer programming, each unit we do is more exciting than the previous one, and it always keeps our brains stimulated. Robotics has helped me develop many skills: programming, building, and the most important, teamwork. I'm grateful for having these programs offered at Birtland Middle School, and for Mr. Timbara and for Mr. Jackson to making these opportunities available for us students. As an 8th grader, my journey at Birtland is coming to an end, and I will only miss the education Birtland has imparted on me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, district members. Today I'll be presenting Birtland Middle School's Math Club and its Math Counts history. My name is Daniel Yang, and I'm the captain of the club. We started our Math Counts program when I was in 6th grade with our math club coach, who was, at the time, Mr. Kevin Tambara, who is now the robotics coach. In the first year, we did not have any experience, but we met once a week to practice diligently, and we sent 2 students to the state competition, including me. With experience and confidence gained since, we have made substantial progress. Last year, our team made it to state, not just individuals. That team ranked 10th in the state out of around 40 teams total. This year, our team has also made it into the Math Counts team competition, or state competition, which will be held this Sunday at UC Irvine. We are hoping we can get even better results than last year. Individually, I won the countdown round. Individually, in this year's chapter competition, I won the countdown round, which entails the 12 best scoring students facing off in pairs. The success of our Math Counts program is a perfect example of productive collective efforts from students, teachers, school administration, and parents. We practice by meeting once a week in a room to study a few concepts that would help us in the competition. Once the Math Counts team members and individual members were chosen, we met once a week to rigorously practice previous tests and competitions in preparation. However, this would never have been possible without the help from a few people. I would like to acknowledge their efforts, time, and assistance from our former math club coach, Mr. Kevin Tambara, our current math club coach, Mr. Tommy Wynn, our office staff, and our principal, Mr. Leroy Jackson. Last but not least, I would like to thank our parents, peers, and math club members. Thanks for all the support and hard work.
Hello everyone, my name is Shrey Mehta and I am a 7th grader at Birtland. Today I'm here to represent the Birtland Student Council. In the beginning of the year, we had many goals that we set. One of those goals was passion and dedication towards Birtland. Another goal was to consider everyone's thoughts and work as a team. We also wanted to give the students a very special year through fun, creative, and interactive activities and programs. Some of those activities include the beanbag toss. Each beanbag toss has its own little twist depending on a holiday or occasion. Another activity was the ping pong toss. This challenges students to toss a ping pong ball into a various series of cups. This also was related to a holiday or season. We also had the holiday grams and the Valentine grams. This allows students to send a gram along with a small gift to anyone they want in the school. We also had winter formal. This allows 7th and 8th graders to dance and enjoy with their friends. It is one of the most special events for 8th graders as it's their last year in middle school. We also have school spirit days. On several days of the school year, we have spirit days. For example, each grade level has a certain color to wear. Lastly, we have the door decoration contest. This is a school-wide competition that lets homeroom classes decorate their door the best they can, according to season or holiday. After we're done with the whole year, we have many future plans. We continue to persevere and develop our leadership skills. We also want to create new activities for occasions like St. Patrick's Day. With other seasons coming up, we want to create more dances like, for example, the spring dance. And we also want to continue making everyone's year at Bertlin a very memorable one at all times. Thank you very much, district members.
Wow, never a dull moment. Very nice. Thank you. And last but not least.
Yes, we have one more student representative from Sherry High School.
Yay. I know this young man.
Good evening. My name is Paul McKissick, and I am here representing Sherry High School to tell you what great things about our school. Thank you to the board and to TUSD for giving me this opportunity to share with you. Sherry High is a school for 16-year-old students who are behind in credits for a multitude of reasons. Many students attended school every day but did not complete assigned work or prepare for tests. Others had issues that were preventing them from making school a priority. At Sherry, we are working to make up credits and either return to our home schools or to graduate with Sherry. This has been an awesome year for Sherry High. Last spring, we found out that we received our first WASC accreditation for 6 years. A few weeks ago, we received the honor of being recognized as a model continuation school. Everyone at Sherry is very proud of these accomplishments. Sherry High offers programs that encourage proactivity, such as the leadership program, which I and a group of other students get together on Mondays and Fridays to talk about how to get students more involved at school, like Spirit Weeks. The rest of the week, we are at Torrance Elementary helping teachers and students. We launched our PBIS, Positive Behavioral Intervention and Supports program, at the beginning of this year. Our 3 behavioral expectations are accountability, kindness, and respectfulness. We get tickets that are when we show any of these 3 positive behaviors. Tickets are redeemable for prizes such as snacks, gift cards, and even Sherry High Spiritware. We also have other incentives at Sherry, such as contract winners each week, student of the quarter luncheons, and perfect attendance winners each month, for just to name a few. Along with positive incentives, we may have intervention opportunities when we feel like we need a little extra help to keep up with our work. We can go to after-school tutorial 2 days a week, or our intervention teachers also pull us out when we need help when needed to help us finish our work. Check where we are on credits and answer any questions we may have. Overall, Sherry High School, in my opinion, is the best high school in Torrance Unified. I have found that students are able to be themselves and learn at a pace tailored to meet their needs. The overall environment of the school is helpful, positive, and caring. My brother recently left Sherry High to go back and finish high school at South High. I myself have chosen to stay and graduate at Sherry, and I am very happy with this decision. Thank you.
And it's not all work, because I remember meeting you to pick up a piece of artwork there that you had created. So there is some artistic endeavor going on there too. So thank you very much. All right. And for those students that did present, you're welcome to stay with us if you like, because we're going to have more meeting here. You may be excused if you would like to go home and do homework. We're just giving you a moment here.
Or watch TV.
Yeah, or watch TV or whatever it is. Our next presentation is going to be on secondary science pathways. And to introduce that, I will be calling on Dr. Crumpy.
Thank you. We have 3 people this evening: Dr. Ramona Chang, our Director of Curriculum; Tara Black, one of our district resource teachers; and Department Chair at West High School, still? Okay.
Amongst other
Nikki,
things.
just making, amongst other things. Nikki Chambers, that are going to present to you a little bit about the high school next generation science standards. As we continue for the next gen science rollout, I think you've been exposed through a prior presentation on a lot of work that K-8 has been doing that has involved an integrated approach. And it's time now for us to look at moving forward and how we're going to address the framework and the standards for 912. And with that, I turn it over to our 3 esteemed presenters.
Yay.
Okay, so to get us started, kind of backtracking a little bit, as you heard, we started this back with kindergarten through 8th grade, and that all started back in 2013. So as we take a look at the stages of implementation, we've all been starting this awareness transition phase since then, and we continue to progress our way through. As you can see, we are currently kind of right there in the middle of the stage 2 and stage 3 in the transition phase as we work here with our high schools. With us today are teachers and administrators from our 5 high schools, and we appreciate their support. But really, to be able to provide you with the depth of work that we've been doing are the 2 teachers that Dr. Crumpy has introduced you to. So to give you a little bit about the 2 of them, Tara is currently our induction resource teacher, and we do a lot of other things other than our job, the other jobs as assigned part of it all. But she has been our principal designer for taking these new challenges that the Next Generation Science Standards has offered us. And through some very unique designs and high-quality professional learning opportunities, our district has really made a nice transition through NGSS. And as you heard, Nikki Chambers is a key person here in that she takes a lot of the practices that we're talking about and actually implements them in her classroom. So we kind of get to test it out there and take a look at it and hear about it. But together they both bring for us a great deal of knowledge and expertise, as well as the experience and the studies that they have made sure that they are well versed in, and bringing that to all our colleagues. So Tara and Nikki, thank you.
Thank you, guys. I would just like to start by saying that I'm very honored to be standing up here to represent all of the high school science teachers that we have in our district that have worked so hard to put this plan together for you guys. So thank you for having me. Yes. The high school science leadership team is composed of science teachers from all 5 high schools in our district, and representing all of the core science disciplines that we have, biology, chemistry, physics, as well as physical science of the earth, which you will see represented in this presentation as PSE. In addition, we've had all of our high school science department chairs, as well as assistant principals and principals from each of the different school sites. Our district science resource teachers, Amy Argento and Marissa Stilitano, as well as Dr. Crumpy, Dr. Dougal, and Dr. Chang were also present at our leadership team meetings. A very important part of this whole process has been the back and forth communication between the leadership team and all of the high school science teachers at the school sites. We really wanted to ensure that all of the high school teachers felt that they had a voice in this process. So after each of the high school science leadership team meetings, the representatives from the leadership team went back to the school sites and shared the activities and information that we discussed at each of the leadership team meetings. The teachers were able to provide feedback, and that feedback was then used to drive future conversations and activities that we did on the leadership team. The Next Generation Science Standards do state that all students must have access to all standards, and what this means is that each of the disciplinary core ideas that you see represented in this image, life science, physical science, earth and space science, and engineering and technology, all need to be incorporated into our science curriculum in grades K through 12. And so the district leadership team that was created back in 2015. Their work was to ensure that all students had access to all standards in grades kindergarten through grade 8. And currently, the high school science leadership team is focused on ensuring that all students in Torrance have access to all standards in grades 9 through 12. Since the state of California provides local control for high schools to determine how to arrange the standards into courses to allow all students access to all standards, Nikki's going to talk to you guys about the process that the leadership team took to develop the plan for Torrance.
All right, good evening, everyone. As Tara mentioned, we had an interesting task over the past year and a half, taking a look at the way science has been taught in Torrance, taking a look at the expectations of the community, the unique position we're in being a bridge to post-secondary education and what those expectations have required, continue to require, and really also looking further ahead towards the unique expectations and demands of the 21st century world that is so very STEM focused and STEM dependent. So in high school, we're very aware of preparing the next generation of young adults to be scientists, to be science literate members of the community, and the unique responsibilities that go with that. The first challenge that we really had in taking a look at how this paradigm shift was going to happen was the fact that earth and space sciences are much more significantly represented in the next generation science standards than they ever have been in our state science education standards before. And figuring out really what to do with that in the context of how science has been taught, the opportunities and the challenges that we have with regard to a 2-year science graduation requirement, many students, most of our students, taking 3 years of science, and a formidable challenge weaving these 4 different disciplines into opportunities, as Tara mentioned, to access science education for everyone. We've had significant conversation back and forth regarding how to roll this out, and the plan that has really been developed in conjunction with the teachers has been to embed the earth and space science storyline into the biology, chemistry, and physics curricula to create a rich contextual experience for our students that has relevance to current events, that truly is an authentic approach to understanding the way the world works through the lens of life science, physical science, and earth science combined. The plan that we have come up with our back and forth conversations from the leadership team back to our different school sites, conversation, feedback from the teachers, revision, rework, rediscussion, really is a plan that looks like this. And if you look at the pathway, it's really not all that different with regard to the path through high school. A year of life science, a year of physical science, that corresponds to the graduation requirements as put out by the state of California. We've rearranged the pathways a little bit. We've all agreed that biology is appropriate for freshmen. The alignment with the new Common Core standards for math, not so new anymore, is workable. Freshmen are ready to take to meet the math requirements of the biology standards in 9th grade. Physical science choices, everything from physical science of the earth to chemistry to physics, and then 2 years of electives, which of course can include everything from AP classes to the other diverse electives that we have at our different school sites. So that's what we're recommending, really not that much of a pathway shift. The shifts will be in the way the stories are told each year throughout high school.
So we do recognize that we have a lot of work ahead of us. This is really only the beginning. And so we have here a 2.5 year, if you will, implementation plan for high school science moving forward. So we really do want to start right away with the work that we have ahead of us. So our plan for the remainder of this school year is to inform parents and counselors of the changes, as well as begin developing curriculum for the new biology, chemistry, and physics courses that have earth and space science embedded. Moving forward into next year, we do plan on having the new biology, chemistry, and physics courses implementing for the first time, recognizing that it will not be perfect the first time. And so if you'll notice in 2018-19, we do have time built in to refine the courses based off of teacher feedback as well as student data to make sure that we're continuing the process to ensure high-quality education. For the new development of the new PSE course, making sure that that is truly aligned to the next generation science standards, we would like to form a committee this year that will then work through next year to develop that curriculum, and then that course would be implemented for the first time during the 2018-19 school year. There's going to be a big need for ongoing professional development for all of our high school science teachers throughout this process. And so we will be building that into our time over the next couple of years. We do have time built in for the remainder of this school year to meet with all of our high school science teachers to work on developing this new curriculum. And so, you know, the professional development will include hands-on experiences for the teachers to really dive in and see what embedding earth and space science into their curriculum looks like. It will be time to collaborate as district teams on building curriculum and making sure the experiences are rich and meaningful for our students. Our goal is to be out of that loop by the end of this school year. So hopefully being able to really dive in and start working on the curriculum that embeds earth science and building the curriculum for the new PSE course will really move us out of that loop and move us into stage 3, where we're really building rich curriculum for our students through the lens of the next generation science standards. And then hopefully by the end of next year, we can be in stage 4, again recognizing that the first year of implementation is not going to be perfect, so it is going to take us time. So hopefully by the end of 2018-19, we'll be towards the end of the implementation stage and on our way to really meeting the vision of the next generation science standards. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of work.
So the highlight of what's new and different about this is compressing into 2 years the graduation requirement? Is that a correct, no?
No. We do recognize all the models that we have available. The national level has presented high school with course models. The state has presented high school with course models to look at. They're really all 3-year and 4-year course models. It is recognized by those that are writing this curriculum that you can't do high school next generation science standards in 2 years. So really what we're proposing is that we are following a 3-year course model. And it really is based around the 3-year course model that is in the California framework for science. But recognizing that we do only have a 2-year graduation requirement. So while we can't force students to take all 3 years, we at least will have them offered as options.
And biology is the first course, just from my information. 8th graders no longer will be able to avail themselves of biology?
So the reason that we put first course as opposed to a grade level is because 8th graders can still take that as their first course.
Their first course.
Yes, at this time that is still going to be the same.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know. Okay, anybody else? Questions, comments? Cool.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Oh, wait, Nikki, before you leave, I think there's another item on the agenda, actually, that happens to be about you. Can I ask you just for a second?
Of course.
About attending the Astrobiology Science Conference in
Yes.
Arizona?
Yes.
Wow. That's all, and you're going to be actually doing a presentation?
Yes,
the
so
workshop?
I've been working with the NASA Astrobiology Institute for the 10 years that I've been teaching the course. I've been doing some curriculum projects with them since last June, and so we're presenting our final piece at the conference. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm excited about it. And yes, I'm going to go be a total science nerd and learn from.
Wonderful.
Yes. So,
enjoy.
Thank you.
And represent us well.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you. Wonderful. Okay. Just happened to know she was on one of the other items, so. Anything else to add, Dr. Crumpy, before we move away from that?
No.
No, just that I think their plan is really well thought out. They put a lot of time and effort into it, and it will align with the rollout of the high school assessment that we're field testing and then piloting, and then we will roll out 2 years from now. So the timing also aligns with that.
Okay. Great, thank you. Moving on to oral communications, we have no cards.
We have no cards, Mrs. Ray.
We have a lot of young men and women back there.
I believe
And
you'll be
nobody wants
signing
to
some
speak up.
signatures, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
they may have to stay to the end,
Yes,
the very end.
well, hopefully it won't be too late of an end tonight. Moving on to discussion action items then. Let's go ahead and address that first item, which is approving the qualified certification of the second interim report.
Make a motion.
Okay,
Second?
it's been moved and seconded that we approve the qualified certification of the second interim report for 2016-17. Dr. Stowe.
Thank you, Ms. Reagan's members of the board. This is the second interim report and follows the first interim report, which we did back in December, which shared with you some different numbers and different assumptions that we used back then. This is now following the governor's proposed budget that we received in January and analysis of that. And we will then, well, I'll explain what the next steps are after this. So based on what you see up here are the assumptions that we used to do our budget projections for the current year plus 2 additional years. And I'll go through what some of the changes are, but basically you can see that that we are receiving less gap funding in the 17-18 year than we had projected initially. The increase over base year funding for next year is projected to be just $1 million with estimated $5.5 million increase in 18-19. But as you know, these are just estimates for especially that second year. Other assumptions that we made, and this is no surprise, it's the same information we reported back in, well, most of it's the same from back in December. You can see the increase in the STRS and PERS rates that is going up annually through 2021. And we have put there the number for you. So what the cost to TUSD is of that increase in rate is $2.5 million for the current year, $2.5 million for next year, and then estimated $2.8 million increase for the year after. We are currently in negotiations with 2 units. We've settled with 1, and we have not begun negotiations with our 4th. Major changes from the first interim that you can see here. Based on the governor's January proposal, the big one is that change in gap funding. This is the gap from where we're currently funded to what full implementation of the local control funding formula would be. And the change from almost 73% down to less than 24% is about $3.5 million less in revenue than we had expected to receive from the state. It goes up a little bit next year from what we thought was 40 to 53, but it doesn't go up enough to make up for what we thought we were going to be receiving for this year. In addition, the governor's January proposal proposed $1.1 million in one-time money. And as you can see there, it's significantly less than what we've received in each of the 3 prior years, especially in 15-16, where we received 12.2 in one-time money, and then 16-17, 4.9 million in one-time money, much of which was allocated out to the sites for band instruments and other student supplies, capital equipment at the schools. Some other changes since the first interim in December. PERS increased their or decreased their discount rate, the rate that they had expected to receive off of their earnings, from 7.5 to 7. And so that steps down to 7.25 next year, and then 7.0 the next year. That difference needs to be made up by districts, and so it actually increases the district contribution by the number stated there. We do have a favorable revision that's in the consent calendar, and those were some adjustments from vacancy savings, increased in interest rates that we received on money that we have, so that we were able to actually offset some of the reductions that came out of the governor's office by about $1.4 million. The multi-year projection, you can see 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19. At the end of 2018-19, we're have a $9 million deficit on the projected multi-year projection. With expenditures, you can see going down. The increase of expenditures this year is, again, that one-time money. So it's not that we're reducing by $12 million for next year. It's just the one-time money that we're spending in the current year or anticipating to spend in the current year. And so there you can see the deficit spending as it compares to revenue. The beginning and ending fund balance at the end of 18-19, again, it just reflects that deficit spending will be at $14 million, slightly over $14 million in our ending fund balance in 18-19. We have components of this ending balance that are committed. So we've got funds that we've committed for student achievement, teacher credentialing, textbooks, implementation of Common Core. There's still some of that money here that we have committed, as well as other one-time expenses. And then the funds under the LCFF, they're committed for targeted students that is estimated to be $6 million in 2018-19. So the reserve for economic uncertainty, which is we need to maintain a 3% reserve to meet the state requirement. That, as you can see, next year we are at 4.4%, so slightly above the 3% reserve, but we dip below the 3% reserve the next year. So that's not, that's 0.6%, that's negative 0.6%. So to get back up to the 3% reserve, we would need to add 3.4%. So that number leaves us at about almost $9 million below the 3% reserve in 18-19. So what's next? Because of the concern for LA County Office of Education, we are recommending that qualified certification, which basically lets the county know that we're aware of the issue, that you as a board have that understanding, and that we would come up with a fiscal plan to maintain the required reserve in that third year. We would also, as required, do informally, we call it the third interim, which if you have a qualified budget, you have to do. And that is basically, by the end of May, sharing with you how we're going to make the projection in the current year. So they don't look at the third year in that, and we have no problem in the current year, it's the third year. So that's kind of where we estimate we will be. We have the May revise coming up in mid-May, and the local control accountability plan, along with the budget adoption in June, and the presentation at June, first meeting in June, and then on the 27th of June, the adopting the LCAP and the budget. Oh. I don't know, you're back. So, questions?
Anybody? Questions, concerns,
So-
issues? Mr. Steffen.
So, going to that last slide, the components of the ending balance, that 18-19 years are a bad year, and none of these figures include any salary or negotiations, right?
Correct. What?
Salary negotiations or the
It includes the salary, the step and column.
step and column.
You know, the annual changes that we expect. And also just, you know, to remind you, we did settle with one of the units, Local 99, that you approved at the last meeting for 0%. So there is no negotiated settlement for any dollars at this time.
Well, just to note, we're not sitting on that 20+% reserve anymore.
We are not.
Not even close. Okay. Anybody else?
Actually, didn't we pay that down to almost 3% a year ago or something like that? Weren't we lower than 6.8 a while back? We're getting close, if it's not. Okay.
Pretty darn close. That's it?
For me.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Stowe. Not the best of news, but thank you for doing that. Moving on to, oh yeah, sorry. We have a motion and a second to approve that qualified certification. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, moving on to the next item is to adopt resolution number AS-08-16/17. Authorization to apply for and secure grant funding from the South Coast Air Quality Management District, PA 2017-01, AB 923 Electric School Bus Purchase Program. Wow, that's a mouthful. And that's Dr. Stowe again. Motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion second, Dr. Stowe.
All right, thank you, Ms. Reagans. Members of the board, this is just authorization to apply for a grant through the South Coast Air Quality Management District for 4 new electric buses, and the AQMD grant would pay for slightly over $1 million toward this. Our cost would be $180,000 because we would need to retrofit the buses with larger batteries to get up to an 80-mile range. That would allow us to use them for a full day of routes. And so it would replace some of our aging buses, and we estimate that based on the fuel consumption, that we would recoup the savings in about 4 years, or recoup our expense of $180,000 within about 4 years. So we would like to have you approve this so that we can then move forward with the rest of the process.
These are full-size buses or baby buses? Or?
These are, I think, 62 passenger buses.
Okay.
Oh,
Anybody?
baby buses.
What?
We spend $180,000 to improve the battery on it, and we make back $48,000 per year? That's a pretty good ROI.
Right, it's not per bus, that's total among the 4 buses.
That's still a pretty good ROI.
Because we would use these for all of our buses are used a lot.
They are.
And for the sports team athletic trips, and
And
we couldn't use these buses for the long hauls with it, that band and some of the other groups do, but most of the in-town stuff we can handle.
Yeah. And like you said, now you can use, if you can get that many miles out of it, you can use it all day long.
Right.
They come with extension cords to where they're parked in front of the school, you can plug them in.
I think we should
So
use
knock on
those
a
city
neighbor's door?
terminals that are
We
around
might be able to
the-
park over at Wilson Park. maybe.
Yeah, exactly, put them in the parks. Charge them up. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution to buy some new electric buses. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. That's ambitious and wonderful. All right, so now on to our favorite part of the agenda. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw that at you. The consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve consent items 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
I have questions on 17.5 and 17.6.
Pull those, everything else stands.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve all consent items aside from 17.5 and 17.6. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, those are all passed, and Mr. Wormers,
Do we need a motion first?
yes?
I make a motion, we approve 17.5.
And I second that.
I make a motion to approve 17.6, make it more efficient.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that 17.5 and 17.6 be approved. And now for your questions.
Yeah, this is the one where the security intrusion alarm, video analytic notification, we're going to pull the bid back? I mean, just, we're going to go back out to bid, or is that the plan? I mean,
Yes, we'll go back out to bid. That we had one responsive bidder on this, and it really wasn't a very complete bid that we got back. This is looking at, we contract with a company called Allen Alarm for some of the response, and they call the police, or they'll call our on-call staff. But we want to look at possibly getting someone that will do not just the alarms, but be able to log in and look at the cameras and provide some other monitoring with the new technology that we have in place. And so we'll go back out and see what we get.
oh, okay, all right, thank you. That was my question. I was just curious what had happened and why. So,
Is it something we're going to be able to find? The fact that there were so few bids to start? Okay, they just didn't come, we just didn't contact them or get them involved in the process the first time, so we're hoping to.
Yeah, Jorge Gutierrez is working with his staff to try to see if we can get some additional bidders.
Okay.
all right.
It's been moved and seconded that we pass item, well, actually, why don't you go ahead and do 17.6 too?
Okay, the question I have there is, that you've got a list of 4 vendors here for the work at North High. Are any of these vendors from Balfour Beatty? Are they anything that we've gotten from them, or are these vendors we found on our own, or?
This was a separate public bid process.
True, I was just curious if these are any electrical vendors that,
I recognize RDM Electric. They're doing a lot of work on for our modernization. I don't recognize the others.
and this was work that was not covered during Y and Z. This was.
Right.
This was something outside of that scope, so that's why we have to go back and do this.
Yes, and this is a little bit more, I mean, we've got other projects that need to be done, but this one, our staff feels pretty important that on this feeder box over at North High.
Okay. I was just trying to get some context and perspective, if you will, so.
And actually came back about $8,000 less than what we expected it to be, so.
That's always pleasant.
Right.
Yeah, all right, very
As long
good.
as there's no change orders. Oh, sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that we pass item 17.5, 17.6. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so we're through with consent. Moving on to comments from the board. Am I in the right place here? And the first on that list is Mr. Wormers about SoCal Rock.
We had a meeting, and at least 3 different times I questioned where we hoped to get funding, and it was, the only answer I got was we were hoping to get funding from the state. So it was most interesting to interact with Ms. Lucky in that process, so I know you warned me.
Know her well, know her
But
well,
it's been a
yes.
tad surprising. Very pleasant process. I brought my flowers back to Dr. Manning.
Shelley got them then.
Yeah, we, so everyone understands, we get a bouquet of flowers. They have a flower arrangement class there, so they give us a bouquet of flowers, and we got told I have to take them home with me. I fought tooth and nail not to, but I got told I have to take them home with me. So I deliver them to Dr. Manning, and he doles them out to whoever he sees appropriate. So, but they're going for the only other news I can add to comment on is they're going for their WAS certification, not this coming Sunday. They got their last meeting concerning it, so. Other than that, that's it.
That's it? Okay, comments from other board members? Anybody? Mrs. Deutsch?
Just a couple of comments. I attended the 3rd Annual Elementary School Spelling Bee at Hull, and Mrs. Reagan's was with me, and it was an amazing event. And I just wanted to thank and congratulate all of the winners. They did an amazing job. The other item is Mrs. Reagan's and I attended today the TUSD Delmac Parent Conference. And I just want to thank Ben Egan and Lori Chanley and all of those amazing staff people that were there to help. It was an amazing event, very well attended by our community and our parents. So I just wanted to mention that very well done. Very well done. And Mrs. Reagan's and I, we were part of a presentation on volunteers and PTA. So, yes, that's it.
Yes, amen. Just to add to the spelling bee, those kids were spelling some words I never heard before.
Mrs. Reagan's didn't
In fact, I
even
went
know.
home and quizzed my husband, and I said, oh yeah, well, try this one. And there were words he had never, I had to look them up online to see what the word was, let alone how to spell it.
They
So
were amazing.
I was very impressed with, especially the winning student, who will go on to represent Torrance at the citywide spelling bee, I believe is the next step, right? Is that correct? County, sorry.
That's great.
Sorry, yes, I forget. We have a very big area to cover. Okay, anybody else, any other comments? I do have a few anniversary increments for classified employees. I didn't want to forget to announce this evening. For 10 years of accredited service, I have Doreen Asari and Amy Paris. For 15 years of accredited service, I have Sandra, I think it's Baeza, Deborah Cervantes, Catherine Flores, Thomas Grant, Rosemarie Huaman, Elizabeth Johnson. And for 20 years of service, we have some folks who have been with us for a long time. I have Terry Basin and Annette Lebon. So thank you, folks, for sticking with us all that time and serving our students, and we appreciate it. And having said that, we will go ahead and recess again to close session once again.
Who's gonna sign all this stuff for
Yeah,
these kids?
so
Just send them up here fast. Let's go, guys.
We'll Yeah, sign 'em.
guys, come
Everybody
on
line up in
forward.
front of all 5 of us. Let's go. Move.
Yeah, anybody can sign for you.
Here, come on, don't be shy.
Yeah, just come on over.
Anybody can do it. Just pick
Where
a
am I?
person, any person. Thanks. Rudy, have you actually been to Rudy's? Have you? Cool. Actually, I think this may be me.